Please subscribe, like, and notifications. This means a lot to me. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video too. Did you know that ferries operate as transportation in Sydney? Additionally, if you ride ferries in Sydney, there are plenty of fun things to do. You just need an Opal Card to ride the ferries in Sydney. The Opal Card is a transportation card used in Sydney. Anyway, I would like to talk about the advantages and enjoyable activities you can experience when riding ferries in Sydney. And there are plenty of ferry wharves in Sydney too. Around each wharf, you'll find numerous fun places and parks as well. Finally, I highly recommend trying out riding ferries in Sydney. It's an amazing experience and one of the must-do activities in the city. Moreover, you can easily reach beaches by taking ferries in Sydney. Many people opt for ferries to access Sydney's beautiful beaches. And many people also use ferries for their daily commute to the city. We can even capture plenty of good photos too. If you are ferry or airplane enthusiast, this is a unique video for you. Some people may be surprised that I mentioned airplanes as well. But if you watch this video till the end, you'll understand all the reasons why I'm suggesting you ride ferries in Sydney. Lastly, if you love taking city photos of Sydney, this video is unique and useful for you too. Because there are heaps of stunning views in Sydney, if you ride the ferry, you'll be able to capture and film plenty of amazing views in Sydney. A lot of people capture these views when they ride ferries in Sydney too. Because of this, riding ferries in Sydney is one of the fun things to do. You can even spot numerous sailing boats and witness intersections with other ferries and jet skis too. Spotting airplanes while you're on the ferry is also one of the best things to do. You'll be able to capture airplanes in the sky like a photographer. If you love airplanes or want to take great airplane photographs, riding the ferry is the best way to capture them. Many people might assume that capturing stunning airplane views from a ferry is challenging due to shaking or speed. However, ferries offer a smooth ride, and even though they are fast, they don't move as quickly as the airplanes, making it easier to capture airplane photos effectively. This is why I mentioned airplanes earlier. You can definitely capture plenty of beautiful and professional city photos when you ride the ferry. If the ferry you're on approaches the city closely, you'll have a great opportunity to capture stunning shots. Finally, when you ride the ferry, you can also compare the city's appearance from both a smaller and larger perspective. So, if you want to capture stunning and captivating city photography, riding ferries is an excellent choice. But I would like to note that ferries only go to Barangaroo and Circular Quay if they are heading to downtown Sydney. Additionally, there are plenty of ferry services that go to various other wharves in Sydney besides Barangaroo and Circular Quay. These areas offer a multitude of options for ferry destinations. If you ride a ferry service by Circular Quay from Milsons Point Wharf or take a ferry from Circular Quay or Barangaroo that passes by Milsons Point Wharf, you'll pass under the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Did you know about this? And riding the ferry is the best way to take beautiful photos of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. If you also want to capture stunning photography of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, you should ride Sydney ferries. You can even spot and observe a variety of waves when you ride ferries in Sydney. If you want to capture beautiful photography of waves, you can do so by riding ferries. I was especially surprised when I saw them while riding ferries. If you ride ferries, you'll be able to spot these waves much more closely than if you're watching from the beaches or riversides. When riding ferries in Sydney, there are bins available for comfortably disposing of your rubbish while on board. There are even water fountains, toilets, and some ferries are double or triple decked, with many people going up to the second or third floors to take nice photos. Some ferries have life jackets stored under the seats, similar to airplanes, while others have them stored in different places on the ferry. And some of the life jackets are also stored at the top of the ferry. There are even life tubes available. The interior of the ferry offers numerous advantages as well. Finally, when the ferry arrives at each wharf, if there's no one waiting, the crew members ask all passengers in front of everyone who is getting off or not. Also, you're not allowed to stand in this area when the ferry is approaching the next wharf and until it departs and the doors are closed by the crew members. If you need to pass through this section in this situation, you must wait until the doors are shut by the crew members and they have moved away. Alternatively, you can move to the other side of the ferry to pass through. Many people even go fishing at every ferry wharf while they wait for their ferry. Some people only go to the wharves for fishing purposes. If you love fishing, you can visit any of the wharves in Sydney and enjoy it. Today, I've discussed numerous advantages of riding ferries in Sydney. If you want to visit beaches and other beautiful parks in Sydney, riding ferries is a great way to get there. Ferries are an excellent choice for accessing many beaches and parks throughout the city. As mentioned earlier, there are plenty of parks in Sydney that are connected to ferry wharves. Sydney offers numerous transportation options to access a variety of places, including light rails. I will also discuss the advantages of light rails. Riding ferries in Sydney is very relaxed and comfortable, as there are plenty of seats available on every ferry. You can capture many stunning photos of views, airplanes, sailing boats, ferries, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and the cityscape of Sydney while on board. These are the specific reasons why I highly recommend riding ferries in Sydney. Just like buses, trains, and trams in other countries, ferries operate as part of the public transportation system in Sydney. All you need is the Opal Card, as I mentioned earlier. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and turn on notifications if you enjoyed this video or love my channel. I'll be back with more awesome content next time. Thank you for watching.